You know, I'm not the guy who usually goes on about how studio interference is always bad and always ruining good movies. But in this case, yeah. Passengers is directed by Morton Tildum, written by John Spates, and it stars Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. This is set aboard a ship called the Avalon. It's going to another planet far across the distant galaxies, and one day, due to something happening, Chris Pratt wakes up 90 years earlier. And you follow him around hanging out in the ship alone, but suddenly another year passes and Jennifer Lawrence wakes up, and now we have a man and a woman. They are both pretty hot. Guess what's going to happen? Meanwhile, the ship also starts malfunctioning and we have our movie. The biggest problem this movie faces, I'm going to talk in a little bit because you guys know how I like to start off with good things. This is Chris Pratt's best performance today. I mean, seriously, the guy hangs out alone for most of this movie in the beginning, and he carries a lot of the movie alone with him. You really feel the solitude, the sorrow, the sadness of this character through his performance and how he hangs out and the things he does in this ship, trying to hang in there, trying to process this whole thing of, I'm going to die during this trip and I'm going to die alone because everyone else is asleep, no one knows me, I don't know anyone, but still, I'm a human being who's going to spend his whole life alone with this android played by Michael Sheen, who's actually a pretty funny guy and pretty cool to hang around with, but still, it's not a human being, you don't feel that connection. But Chris Pratt truly nails it, and as much as he has this sorrow and solitude and sadness all around him and compensates that very well that you feel it so much, he can have fun and you can laugh with him because you can see the triumph of the human will trying to come out, and I really connect to that feeling, that true feeling of being a human being, and the characters in this movie do feel very real, and that's one of the best parts of this movie. Jennifer Lawrence also is really good, but I will say something about these two and their performances. They are both really good. Jennifer Lawrence has one scene in this movie where her performance, as good as it was up until then, completely shifts to a whole nother degree after that, and she illuminates every scene in this movie with her performance. Also, Morton Tildum shines as well. This guy has only made one movie that I've seen, but what a hell of a movie it was. And you can see him trying to connect to that true human emotion in the beginning of this movie when Chris Pratt's alone. He does some things with the camera that is not exactly standard sci-fi, and that I deeply appreciated. Also, special effects on point. Every scene in this movie looks gorgeous. The cinematography is great. I like the look of the ship because it's very original. I'm still on the fence. Either I like it because I like it, or that I like it because it just stands out and it's original. Now let's go to the bad. Remember what I said about the human spirit and the directing and the performances? They're all good, but this movie has an identity crisis. It doesn't know what it wants to be. Come to a little while after Jennifer Lawrence is hanging out with Chris Pratt, the movie shifts to standard sci-fi. And not just standard sci-fi. This movie not only has an identity crisis with its first and second half, but it also has an identity crisis within the second half alone. It is sci-fi drama, it is sci-fi love story, it is sci-fi thriller. It's all these meshes of sci-fi blended with some other genre that don't really mix. And when that second half comes, it really feels standard. As good as the performances are, they are not up to par with what we've seen previously in the same movie. And so is the directing. It is good, it is fine, it is presentable, it is compatible, but it's not up to the level that we saw him directing this movie before. There comes a moment where Chris Pratt kind of feels like he downgrades his performance and Jennifer Lawrence ups the ante, but after that, Chris Pratt goes a little bit up and Jennifer Lawrence goes a little bit down, and they find themselves in this level that they are both good, they both pull off this movie very well, but it's standard to the movie you are watching. And the second half of this movie also follows many cliches. As characters go, as story goes, as narrative structure goes, it comes a point where this movie stops being what it was setting itself up to be. Look, when we first heard about this movie, it was about these two characters handling the situation that they were going to be for 90 years in this ship, and when the others finally got to the planet they were going to, they would not be alive. This movie feels like it has to find reasons for everything that is going on. and at many options it fails and creates for some very awkward plot points. But what I wanted this movie to be is what it was setting itself up to be in the first hour, in the first 45 minutes, let's say. Just these two people hanging with each other, because Chris Pratt is also going through a moral dilemma, and they kind of lose focus on that when they move on to the second half of this movie and start giving reasons to everything that is going on. Just these two hanging out, handling that drama, that heavy drama that goes into the human spirit, into that morality, that moral fiber that we all hang with every single day of our lives, that would have been enough and created for a very deep and morally centered story, a very raw human story, and that's all I needed. I didn't need sci-fi spectacle. The movie was about these two very real, very genuine human characters hanging out, surrounded by this sci-fi magnificence that looks very beautiful. But after that, it stops being that and just what it needed to be, and starts being this whole spectacle of awesome stunts being pulled off on screen. And that's all fine and dandy, but it's a different movie. There are shifts in tone that this movie takes abruptly in intervals of 10 minutes. This movie changes tones about 3 times in half an hour, and it's just jarring. I'm not going to tell you I didn't enjoy Passengers. I did enjoy every single piece that it presented, because I like action, I like thriller, I like sci-fi, I like drama. The love story in there is good, but everything put together and mixed around in this soup of genres interconnected with this story that started very well and went down right up to here and just hung around above the good movie line. It just doesn't mix very well, and it's jarring as you are watching it, because it feels like too many movies combined. The performances are good, the directing is good, the music is great actually, especially in the end when the movie downgrades from where it was before. Everything is good, but not everything mixes together, and it feels like it's too much going on. It needed to be simple as it presented itself to be, and it went up and up and up into space, and it just crashed down. Passengers seemed very promising, and although it doesn't fulfill that promise, I can't honestly give it a C+. You can have fun with all these genres that are centered. You can have fun with all the genres that you can find in this movie, but I'm not going to tell you it ain't gonna be jarring as you are watching this. I will say that Passengers is a very, very low martini. It is a good time, anytime. What did you think of Passengers, my beautiful geekies? What is your favorite movie from Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence? Let me know in the comments below what it is, and until tomorrow, you can leave your questions on the Facebook page about Voyager. Leave any specific topic about Voyager that you want. And of course, like this video if you like the review, and share with your beautiful friends, and let them join the beautiful geeky community where we can be geeky united. Thank you so much for watching, my beautiful geekies. You guys are the freaking best. Christmas is almost here, and I wish you a happy holidays. Stay beautiful, stay geeky, yeah!